Hey there, Detroit sports fanatics. I'm Taylor Phillips, and welcome to Taylor's Detroit Sports episode 69 on Spreaker. You can also find this and all other episodes of Taylor's Detroit Sports on iHeartRadio. You can also add me on Facebook as Taylor Phillips. Like my Facebook page, Taylor Phillips' Detroit Sports page. And join my group, Taylor Phillips' Detroit Sports Group, on Facebook. Also, follow me on Twitter at DT2Phillips. Big preview between the Lions and Packers at Ford Field today at 1 on Fox. Also, we're going to get to a little Tigers as they prepare for Game 3 against the Royals. First off, the matchup between the Lions and Packers. The Lions' history against Packers quarterback Aaron Rodgers is tough to ignore. Justin Rogers writes from MLive.com. The entire preview. First off, the Lions offense versus the Green Bay Packers defense. The Lions hung 35 on the Giants to open the season, then stumbled and bumbled their way to a 7-point output against Carolina last week in a 24-7 defeat at the hands of the Panthers on the road. This is what has made Detroit's offense so confounding in recent years. They have the weapons to rack up monster yardage totals, but it hasn't always translated to points. Missed field goals and turnovers prevented the Lions from hanging with the Panthers, but the team still proved capable of moving the ball against a tough defense. Detroit should have continued success moving the chains against the Packers. And while the risk of interceptions goes up against an aggressive ball-hawking Packers secondary, the Lions should be able to run the ball better against a front seven that's average in that area. So the edge goes to the Lions. Now, here's the key, though. The Lions' defense versus the Packers' offense, Jordy Nelson has gone from simply being the Packers' top option in the passing game, having a relationship with quarterback Aaron Rodgers bordering on symbiotic. Nelson has been targeted 30 times through 2 games and leads the league with 18 receptions for 292 yards. Wow. While Nelson will be a stiff challenge for the boundary corners, the bigger concern might be who handles Randall Cobb in the slot. Detroit's situation at nickelback can rightfully be described as dire after losing Bill Bentley and Nevin Lawson for the season, leaving the next man up to defend one of the game's more dangerous weapons over the middle. And that next man up is Darius Slay. And you can't simply drop 7 and ignore Eddie Lacy coming out of the backfield either. The second-year running back has struggled to get going this season. Largely because the Packers have fallen behind big in their first 2 contests. But given the opportunity, the hulking Lacy can punish you up front at running back. The good news for Detroit is they've carried over their dominance against the run from last season to the current one. Opponents are averaging just 2.0 yards per carry coming into this one. The edge goes to the Packers overall. Special teams. Rookie kicker Nate Freese has left 9 points on the board the first 2 weeks, dragging down the entire performance of Detroit's special teams by missing 3 field goals in his first 2 games in his debut in the National Football League. Otherwise, punter Sam Martin has been solid. The coverage unit's good, and return man Jeremy Ross, sans a fumble against Carolina, has done nice work establishing field position for Detroit. The Green Bay Packers special teams are clicking on all cylinders. They haven't missed a field goal, and they're shutting down the opponent's return game, which has given punter Tim Masthay a shining 42 flat yard net average. Opponents have avoided giving Cobb many opportunities when he's back to return punts, and Martin can't afford to break that trend by out-kicking his coverage. So, a unanimous edge goes to the Green Bay Packers there. Coaching. Mike McCarthy has been one of the NFL's most successful coaches since taking over in Green Bay in 2008. He's led the team to 6 playoff appearances and a Super Bowl victory. After splitting last season, his career mark against Detroit sits at 10-2. Jim Caldwell for the Lions is still working on exercising the demons of self-inflicted mistakes which have plagued the Lions for a half century. His rookie coordinators Terrell Austin and Joe Lombardi, Terrell Austin defensively and Joe Lombardi on offense, are understandably still developing rhythm with their play calling. So you'll have to give the Lions coaching staff some time. The edge goes to the Packers. Intangibles. If you're looking for positive, this game is at Ford Field, where Detroit has had a modicum of success against the Pack, winning 2 of the past 4 meetings, including last year's 40-10 Thanksgiving thumping of Green Bay, which is quite memorable, which included Ndamukong Suh sacked Matt Flynn back in his own end zone for a safety one time, making it 26-10 in that second half. But Detroit's aforementioned injury woes, not just at nickelback, but also right tackle and along the defensive line, is reason for legitimate consternation. Rodgers, Julius Peppers, and Clay Matthews are the type of players who can expose a weakness. And the Packers have that edge of intangibles. Predictions. Justin Rogers picks the Packers to win 28-24, and Kyle Meinke picks the Packers to win 38-35. Rogers says Aaron Rodgers owns the Lions, of course. I guess you might say that. He's 9-0 against the Lions career-wise. And Meinke says the same thing. And also says the Lions might have to start a corner they signed this week. Now for the game day link. The game day article link, that is. Today's game will take place at Ford Field, of course. And it'll start at 1. And it'll be on Fox, your local Fox affiliate. My local Fox affiliate is Fox 32, WFQX in Cadillac and Traverse City. Jillian Van Strat is the author of, is the writer of this one. The game is on the radio on 97.1 The Ticket and the Detroit Lions radio network and Sirius XM channel 135. Detroit actually... Jillian Van Straat writes that the Lions are the 2.5 point favorite. Green Bay leads these all-time series record 96, 66, and 7 ties. Stat leaders: Matthew Stafford, 49 of 80 passing, 637 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 rushing, and 0 interceptions. Actually, he threw 1 interception for the Lions against, or did he? I thought he threw an interception last week. Joique Bell at running back. Joique Bell with 25 carries, 87 yards, 1 touchdown. Calvin Johnson, 13 receptions, 247 yards, 2 touchdowns, both in Week 1 at Ford Field against the New York Giants. The New York Giants. Stephen Tulloch, 13 tackles. DeAndre Levy with 12. C.J. Mosley with 2 sacks flat. And DeAndre Levy and Glover Quinn with an interception each. Both against the G-men. No, not Green Bay, the Giants. The New York Giants. Here's how Darius Slay is going to try to cover Jordy Nelson. All right. See, Justin Rogers writes from MLive.com, Slay has played well this season, but his primary coverage responsibilities for the first 2 weeks have been Jason Avant and Jarrell Jernigan. Not exactly the cream of the crop. On Sunday, Slay draws Jordy Nelson, the NFL's leader in targets, receptions, and receiving yards through 2 weeks, and easily Aaron Rodgers' most trusted target. The most trusted target. Aaron Rodgers' most trusted target is Jordy Nelson. Jordy Nelson runs outstanding routes, has good hands, and possesses elite body control. He'll give Detroit's second-year corner all he can handle. If Slay can keep Nelson in front of him, preventing a big play all afternoon, it'll be a victory. So look for Darius Slay to chip in and do all the dirty work on the secondary defense. Running back Reggie Bush is the second player to watch. Bush is off to a slow start, carrying the ball just 15 times for 41 yards, while catching 8 passes. Although only 2 in last week's loss to Carolina, he still possesses big playability, something he has flashed during the preseason. And Lions coach Jim Caldwell said this week the team has to do a better job getting the veteran running back the ball in space. That he meant the offensive line. The Packers aren't all that great against the run and can be beaten in the screen game as well. Bush racked up 182 yards from scrimmage in Detroit's win over Green Bay 40-10 last November.